Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about coping skills and, coping mechanisms. I thought this video would be pretty helpful for, honestly, anybody who is looking to be more self-aware. The purpose of this video is to, understand our behaviors a little bit more better and become a little bit more self-aware about certain things we do. So, what are coping skills or coping mechanisms? So, searching it up on Google, search up coping mechanisms. Coping skills refer to conscious strategies used to reduce unpleasant emotions. So, let's go off of the National Institute of Health. The definition is coping is defined as the thought and behaviors mobilized to manage internal and external stressful situations. It is a term used distinctly for consciously and voluntary mobilization of acts, different from defense mechanisms. They are subconscious or unconscious adaptive responses, both of which aim to reduce or tolerate stress. So, there's these unconscious behaviors that keep us comfortable. Before I made this video, I was procrastinating, and that's how I coped with the stress of doing this video for my class. And so all day, from when I got up at 10 a.m., I've been coping with the stress of accomplishing this assignment because it's due tomorrow, and I've done a multitude of things. I went to a race and ate food. I went to FaceTime a friend, and just I considered doing everything I could to avoid doing this. So this might be avoiding thing, but to cope with this, I'm on my phone, and I'm kind of just avoiding the situation. I'm procrastinating. Anyways, according to the National Library of Medicine, coping is defined as the thoughts and behavior mobilized to manage internal and external stressful situations. It also states that when individuals are subjected to a stressor, the varying ways of dealing with it are termed coping styles, which are a set of relative stable traits that determine the individual's behavior in response to stress. These are considered over time and across situations. There is 3 types of responses that you can respond. You just gotta figure out which response you are. There is flight, or freeze. So if you're a flight response, you would find any way to get out of that situation by either running away, literally, just running away. Freeze is where you're stuck in this, you're stuck in this situation, you don't know what to do, and you're just gonna go with the flow. Fight, it's like you're going to be straight up with that person. So, why do we feel the need to cope? Coping helps us ease the pain. To put it simply, it just makes you feel like it has something to give control back into your lives. So, the death of a family member. Some of us take it better than others, but how do we know if we took it well? Well, you would first, probably by the end of the first week after, the death, or specifically the funeral, because I feel like the death, if you didn't see it, you'd be in denial, and if you did see it, you'd probably be in denial about a bunch of things, and it's a not pretty scene to see. But how would you know if you took it well? So you would go through the stages of bereavement, expressing your pain to others, or maybe you're not that type of person. Maybe you need to sit down and process your emotions, alone, for a while and then you come out and reach to other people. Being alone isn't bad. Sometimes people need time to process things, and that's okay. It's either that or you're talking to other people about what the pain you felt within yourself, and you would share that pain with somebody close to you, or depending on your attachment style, somebody close to you, somebody you trust, or a stranger online where you just dump it all on them and you don't have to think about it later. But in the end, you express this your emotions, being vulnerable with somebody or being vulnerable with yourself, and just letting yourself feel the stages of grief and, go through it. It's going to be hard, it's going to be tough, but at the end of the day, everybody needs to process their emotions. It's really good to process your emotions. So how will we know if we didn't take it well? Well, we would exhibit things that would be the opposite of taking it well. And that would be just bottling up your feelings and just trying to hide everything like within yourself. And just be like, I'm okay, when you're really not okay. And you're not trying to talk to people. You're not trying to be vulnerable with somebody about your pain. Yes, it hurts, but you don't want it to hurt even more than it already does. So you kind of just keep it all bottled up. And you'll end up coping more than anything. So, you'll end up coping in various ways, just keeping yourself busy, keeping your mind busy and off of the topic. If you don't let yourself have time to sit down and process it, you won't be able to feel those emotions. So you're kind of avoiding feeling this way. So by doing so, you'll start to cope. And I'm not saying that taking it well doesn't mean you don't cope at all. You do cope. Coping keeps us sane. It's fundamental to our mental health. We need something to keep us a little distracted and happy. You're dealing with the death of your parent, so you kind of you paint things. You paint things about, events, or you go through the photos, or you go out on a jog, a run, go to the gym, maybe even make food, bake something. Like beating dough really helps. Just taking out on your emotions on something in an activity, like giving it your best, giving it your all, keeping yourself busy, but also allowing yourself to have enough time to process your emotions and what you're going through. So you're really sad, you want to stay inside and watch TV all day. That's okay. That's how you cope and deal with the loss. But, after a while, if you're staying inside all the time and just chronically watching TV, chronically eating junk food, or chronically overeating or undereating, it leads into unhealthier situations, which I think is where you can say you didn't take the death well. So you're abusing these coping skills, or even worse, exploring other mediums to cope. What I mean by that is getting into drugs, getting into having a smoking habit, getting into alcohol or other drug paraphernalia. The reason why I wanted to talk about coping mechanisms, coping skills, is that I had a question, and the question is that are coping mechanisms just a distraction, or does it help us solve the main issue? So, I know with the death of a parent, you can't really solve the issue by bringing your parents back to life. You can't really do that. You can't really solve that issue, but we can cope with it and adapt to change. In conclusion, coping mechanisms are very important, and we need them to function in our daily lives and be ourselves and deal with things. So what is a maladaptive coping mechanism? According to study.com, maladaptive behavior is an action by a particular individual that prevents them from being well adjusted to their surroundings. This is used in an attempt to reduce anxiety over an event or situation, but in reality isn't effective at doing so. It's like running from your problems and not really facing and solving your problems. So, literally in the name, adaptive coping mechanisms and maladaptive. Adaptive, we can adapt to our situation. Maladaptive, we don't want to adapt to our situations, or we just can't. But we always can. So, in conclusion, coping mechanisms are fundamental to one's well-being concerning mental health, but there are different categories of coping. Adaptive coping mechanisms temporarily make us feel better as we work our way up to address our main issue. Maladaptive coping mechanisms negatively affect our well-being, damaging and stunting our growth, since it doesn't meet our psychological needs, leading to an addiction or unhealthy habits. In worst cases, scenarios gifting us with avoidance behavior if left unaddressed. As Holland states from the National Library of Medicine, avoidance coping involves cognitive and behavioral efforts oriented towards denying, minimizing, or otherwise avoiding dealing directly with stressful demands and is closely linked to distress and depression. What this means is that we don't adapt to our situation. We end up staying in this state and we aren't adjusting to this new stressful situation that we've been put in. And we're more likely to develop depression, have a habit to keep our anxiety down instead of addressing our anxiety and addressing our depression. It's unhealthy. It's a bad habit. If we keep drinking, it's unhealthy. It's a bad habit. We're going to be a drunk. It's going to affect our social lives. It's going to affect our personal lives, our work lives, even like the state of your home. If left unaddressed using maladaptive coping mechanisms, it can lead to a lot of mental health related issues. And if you really need help, or if you're concerned with somebody, hey, reach out, talk to them. It's all about reaching out and just getting them to be vulnerable, talking about it, opening up. Everybody needs to open up. It's very important to feel all the emotions in your soul and just get it all out. Yeah. I hope this video finds you becoming more self-aware about your behaviors and, understanding why you do certain things when certain people are around or certain situations happen and why you act that way. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed my video, subscribe down below. I'll be coming up with more short films and other cool, fun, and entertaining videos. But thanks for watching. Bye!